Hey ChemStars, it's time to go over our first Chapter 9 objective check. It's on moles to moles. I'm going to go through both Form A and Form B. So how this is going to work is you should have gone through all the notes, all the practice problems for this part. So if you look at our lesson guide, when we're doing this objective check, you should have already been through notes up to page 5. You should have done your homework to page 4, and now we're doing the moles to moles objective check. A lot of you should have a paper copy already. If not, you can click here. That will open up a digital copy. You can do it on scratch paper, you can print it out yourself, whatever works best for you. But the important part is you should already have this done. We're going to grade it together, and then you're going to upload a picture to the assignment link posted on Google Classroom. Okay, so right now we're starting on Form A. The objective is, I can use the chemical equations to perform mole-mole calculations using the BCA table. Our directions are, we have to first balance the equation and then fill in the entire BCA table. Then we're going to answer the questions. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep my same color coordination scheme so we can track everything through here. So carbon plus hydrogen, it's going to be a synthesis reaction where we make C4H10. So 4.4 moles of carbon reacts with excess hydrogen. Remember, we write that as excess. They want to know how many moles of C4H10 can be made. So let's go through and just fill in what we know. So let's separate the after, let's separate the reactants and the products. And I like to put a box around our balanced chemical equation. This is, remember, like our recipe. This is where we get the mole ratios from. And then everything down here, these are like our ingredients and what we actually make. Ingredients, what we actually make. Okay, so first things first, balance the equation. We have 1 carbon, we've got 4 carbons. I can't change this, so I gotta put a coefficient in front. There, that gives me 4 carbon and 4 carbon. Here I've got 10 hydrogen, here I've got H2, so put a 5 in front. That way it'll multiply through. And then this one gets a 1. So now my chemical equation is balanced. So before the reaction, what do we have? We've got 4.4 moles of carbon, and we have excess. That means we've got a lot. So what's going to run out first, 4.4 or a lot? 4.4 is correct. We're going to use up all 4.4. There'll be none left over. Now, how much hydrogen will we use up? We're going to use up 4.4 times the ratio of hydrogen to carbon. And let's see, what will this number be? So we want to actually give a number for this. 4.4 times 5 over 4. Let's use our handy dandy TI calculator simulation. Maybe. Oh, here we go. It's loading. So we're going to figure out what that number is, but what I can tell you is right now, any number, a lot, minus any number, how much is going to be left? A lot. But let's be specific. So if we have 4.4 times 5 divide by 4, we're actually going to be using up 5.5. So we needed 5.5 moles of that hydrogen to use up. But we had a lot. We used 5.5. There's still a lot left over. Okay, and then let's look over at the C4H10. Before the reaction started, I didn't have any. During the reaction, I created the 4.4 times the mole ratio. Okay, so what's 4.4 divided by 4? 1.1. So how much did I create? 1.1 moles of C4H10. Now let's see, what's the final answer they want? How many moles? Well, 1.1. And just do a sig fig check. 1, 2 sig figs, 1, 2 sig figs. There's my final answer. Okay, so this is 10 points. Here's how we're going to count up those 10 points. We're going to do kind of a point for every term and then a point for this being balanced. So if you balanced it right, that's a point. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, this will be a 1 with a circle on it. So there's 9 points in the BCA table plus 1 point right here. That gives us our 10 points. So hopefully you got a 10 out of 10. So that is Form A. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to grade Form B. So very similar, we just changed some of the problems. So let's go through and color code. It's going to be the same grading scheme here. And remember, like I said before, this is our balanced chemical equation. This is the recipe. These are the directions. That's where we're getting the mole ratio from. And they're telling us that we've got 12 moles of phosphorus. And this time there's excess chlorine gas. That means there's going to be a lot. And they want to know how many moles of PCl5 are going to be made. So let's kind of set up our BCA table here. But we need to make sure we have it balanced. So make sure that chemical equation is balanced. 1 phosphorus, that seems fine. But uh-oh, look, we got 2 and 5. What's the smallest number 2 and 5 both go into? 10. So we've got to get 10 chlorine. So let's put a 2 in front. That gives me 10 chlorine here. Let's put a 5 in front. That gives me 10 chlorine. But now we got to fix phosphorus. Okay, 2 phosphorus, 2 phosphorus. Now we're balanced. We can go ahead and figure out what's used up during the change. So during this reaction, am I going to run out of 12 or am I going to run out of a lot? I will run out of 12. So I'm going to use all 12 moles of phosphorus. There will be none left over. How much chlorine am I going to use up? I'm going to use up 12 times the ratio of phosphorus to chlorine. And we want to get a term for this number. Okay, 12 divided by 2 is 6 times 5 is 30. I should be using up 30. Let's double check. 12 times 5 divided by 2. Yep, I'm using up 30. So a lot minus 30 is still a lot. So we start with excess, we end with excess. How much PCl5 am I creating? I'm creating that 12 number from phosphorus times the ratio of PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride, to the phosphorus. So 12 times 2 over 2, well, that's 12 times 1. So I've created 12 moles of PCl5. And let's look at the final answer they want. They want how many moles? So the answer is 12 moles. This again is worth 10 points. So here's how we're going to do that. 1 point for the balanced chemical equation. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 points in the BCA table for every step. Remember, it said fill out the entire BCA table. Then 1 point for the correct balanced equation. So that gives you a score. Hopefully you got a 10 out of 10. Remember, now that you've gone over and graded your work with a different color pen or pencil, please upload a picture of it to Google Classroom so you can get today's class points. Okay, great work today, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.